Hi, I'm Gwen Funk, Field Specialist with MU Extension in Northwest Missouri. My talk focuses on how to prepare seeds to maximize germination rate when collecting your own seeds and starting your own plants from seeds. I've chosen to focus on flowers one might use in a cut garden as examples. There basically are two types of seed treatment. The first, scarification, is speeding up the breaking down of the seed coat so that water can enter the seed. When water enters the seed, it inhibits the chemicals that are maintaining dormancy so the seed can germinate. This can be done with a file, as you see in the picture, or by nicking with a knife. If the seeds are small, you can line a small box with sandpaper, place the seeds in the box, then rub over the seeds with another piece of sandpaper. This will roughen up the seed coat so water can enter the seed. Stratification involves mimicking a winter to help break dormancy in seeds. As you can see, the only difference between cold stratification and warm stratification is the temperature. This process involves wetting a paper towel or coffee filter, laying out the towel, spreading the seeds in a single layer over the towel, then rolling it up like a burrito. Take your seed wrap and place it in a labeled plastic bag, then seal. If you are doing warm, moist stratification, leave the seeds in a protected space at room temperature. If you are using cold moist stratification, place the bag in the refrigerator. So if I talk specifically about the cut flowers, I'll start with sunflowers. As I looked at sources for this, I found a wide range of information about how to treat the seeds for sunflowers. You may have no treatment, but it can possibly benefit from a cold stratification for about 4 weeks, or if you wanted to do a hot water soak. I know that I have used no treatment if I'm buying a cultivar from a seed source, and I just take the envelope, empty the seeds, and plant those seeds directly in my media, whatever I'm using to grow the seedlings in. But if I'm collecting from wild sunflowers, then I usually go through that 4-week stratification so that it helps break down the seed coat and the seeds can germinate a little bit better. So it kind of depends. And I think it's important to note that if you are trying to collect seeds from your cultivars, you may not get the same flower type in the offspring as you did from the parent, mainly because of the genetics. It's a hybrid, so that the offspring are going to take one or the other or a combination of those genes. Zinnias is another popular cut flower, and for this one, it grows easily and the seeds germinate easily. So you can see the dried seeds down there at the bottom, you can see the flowers there at the top, but basically no treatment is needed. Once the flowers are dry, just rub off the petals and then collect the seeds. And then you can collect the seeds in a paper bag or an envelope and just make sure you keep them cool and dry. And then you can plant them in the spring. Lizianthus is one that I wanted to put in here. This one's kind of a challenge. So if you are really wanting to challenge yourself with starting with seeds, this is one to try. It does not require the stratification or scarification that I listed earlier, but it does need light, about 16 hours per day. So you definitely will need a lighting system in order to do this one. That is very slow to start. If you're wanting seedlings to plant out in May, you probably need to start in January. But you would definitely need to keep the lights on the seed media when you sprinkle the seeds, and just make sure that you're moving the lights up and down as needed with the growth of the seedling. You just let the flowers dry. The capsule will be in the center. You can break open that capsule and collect the seeds. Keep them cool and dry until you're ready to start the seeds in January. And then, again, make sure you have that lighting system so that you can get the seeds to germinate. Purple coneflower is one of our native flowers. This one here is the just purple coneflower, Echinacea purpurea, and it may or may not need any stratification. I've always used a 4-week stratification, but I've read in other sources that it may not need any treatment at all, or that scarification, roughing up that seed a little bit, may help. Pale purple coneflower, I read that it does need the 4 to 6 week cold stratification. If you're the Echinacea pallida, which has the lighter pink ray flowers that kind of droop down. So it may depend upon the type of coneflower that you're using, but this would be a good native one to use from seed. And the 4 to 6 week stratification did work really well. Liatris is another good flower for cut flowers because it has that spiky characteristic of it to kind of add floral interest to your arrangements. It does benefit from a cold stratification for about 4 weeks. Again, you would just collect your seeds in the fall once the ray flowers have dried, and then you put the seeds in a paper bag or in an envelope. Just keep them cool and dry for a few months. And then when you're ready you'll have to use a calendar and kind of count backwards, but make sure that you use a 4-week cold stratification period before you want to seed or sow your seed to get the seedlings later in the spring. And then the last flower I just wanted to look at was yarrow. I know that they use some cultivated yarrows in bouquets, so I thought it might be good to think about our native yarrow as well. The leaves have a lot of visual interest, and they also have a bit of an aroma. I know basil is being used and dill are used quite a bit in floral arrangements because of the aroma, the scent of the leaves. But I think that the white flowers can add a little bit of interest in a bouquet as well. They also will need about a 4-week cold stratification period prior to sowing. And it's also, since the seeds are very small, to use light again.